Welcome to this video, where we will be answering some of your half marathon training questions. There are a number of questions that people often have when they want to run a marathon, or even thinking of taking up marathon training. Let's answer some of the half marathon training questions commonly asked questions. 1. Training outside versus training on a treadmill. There is very little difference between training outside and training on a treadmill. The main disadvantage of training on a treadmill is that you might get bored. The other differences are slight and quite minor, such as wind and air resistance outside, and the fact of propelling your body forward when running as opposed to the ground moving under you when on a treadmill. 2. Is it normal to gain weight while training? Don't worry, you are not the only one. When you are training, you are likely to gain a few pounds due to the body building up fresh muscle and tissue. So whilst in terms of figures your weight will increase, the percentage of fat will definitely decrease. Another reason for an increase in weight whilst training for a marathon is the body storing energy in the form of glycogen. The stored glycogen is then converted to energy during endurance running or training. 3. Is it advisable to eat before you run? Are you worried about stomach cramps and side stitches? I'm sure we have all experienced those at one point or another. The best time to eat is between 1 to 2 hours before a run. That way you will have enough energy for your training and you won't be too stuffed to cause cramps and stitches. 4. Is it necessary to run every day? No, it is not necessary, and I would advise against running or training every day. Your body needs time to recover and recuperate, and this is one of the most important half marathon training questions. 5. Is there a way to avoid hitting the wall during a marathon? The wall is that point when your body's energy and glycogen levels can no longer cope with the pace of running, and then you are sometimes forced to walk. So one way to avoid hitting the wall, in addition to eating the right amount of carbs, is to run the marathon distance at marathon pace frequently. This will help your body store up the required energy levels for this distance, and also adapt to it. 6. Is there any way to avoid muscle cramps? Yes, there is, by staying hydrated. Muscle cramps are caused by being dehydrated, so taking in lots of fluids, particularly water, helps a great deal. You should drink regularly during the actual race too. Roughly about 180 milliliters every 20 minutes of your run. You can also consider taking an energy drink to maintain your electrolyte level balance during the race as well. 7. Is it a good idea to use brand new running shoes for the actual race? It is important to change or replace your running shoes after you have put about 480 kilometers in them. Brand new shoes for a race are not recommended. You would much rather buy new shoes 3 weeks prior to the actual race, so that you can put a bit of mileage and get used to running in them. 8. When carrying out marathon training, is strength training necessary? Some people find that their legs are too tired and exhausted to be able to handle strength training as well. What you can do is try and have your strength training sessions before you run. However, as you increase the distance you are running, you can spend less time on the strength training. 9. Why is the longest training run 20 miles, and not the actual 26.2 miles that you will run? This is one question that has been and still is the subject of much debate. There is a popular saying that goes, to be able to run the distance, then you must train the distance. Whilst this may sound like logic, it is far from being practical. If you run the full distance during your training period, you run the risk of getting injured, and you greatly increase the time needed for you to recover and recuperate. The only advantage of running the full race is the mental confidence of knowing you can do it, and this is hardly an advantage worth sacrificing for. What you should know is there are numerous runners who have come before you, trained the 20 miles, and managed to complete the 26.2 miles comfortably and in an impressive time on race day. These are some of the common questions that marathon runners have, and I am sure that some of the ones you had have been answered. In addition to your half marathon training questions, I am certain you found the rest quite informative. Thank you for watching this video. Hit the notification bell, and don't forget to subscribe.